Oh there, YouTube. Back again. It's been a while since I shot anything. Last video I put up was more or less just playing around on my camera. I had my Senna on my helmet. I've been having issues with it. I couldn't get it. There were times the feedback coming from the microphone was either just nothing but noise, or the audio was spotty at best. It'd work great sometimes and then horrible the next. So I just did a little video on the way to work one morning. It ran about 50 minutes, which was crazy long. But I haven't really gotten into my editing software, any of that. I just haven't played there yet. So it turned out okay. So I figured I'd throw it up just to put it out there. Talking about my new bike. Most of you know that have watched this. My previous bike, I actually had two of them, was the 2015 Honda Interstate. Beautiful bike. Loved them. They were solid bikes. They were good runners. That was the one thing I'll say with the Hondas, is they were just, I mean, everyone knows it. They're reliable. You can't get around that, you know. What I did, I had a couple issues with it, nothing mechanically at all. I went to throw bars on one of them, get out of that 35-inch wide. God, I don't even know if they were 35. They might have been like 38-inch wide. They were like a beach bar, real low slung beach bar. Great for low speed maneuverability, I'll give it that. The second I switched out, I realized the drastic difference between having a nice low bar like that versus going into, ape hangers. That was a nightmare just because of the measurements on the tree versus the where your risers would mount, and then you had to find knurling on handlebars that would match the riser distance. That was a nightmare, but that was probably the biggest issue I had with that bike. It was just doing a little bit of, upgrades to it. I did notice though, it was difficult to try. I'd go into Honda and hit them up every now and again. I did it a couple times to see. I tried once in Seattle, and then where I lived, and then down here, Utah. And I've been to both dealerships, and I hit them up about power upgrades, what you could do. How can I give this bike just a little more junk, a little more poop to it, Because she'd do fine, but you start getting into some of these bigger bikes. You start running with 107s, 114s. It didn't really keep up that well. I mean, you could ride the hell out of it and make it keep up, but at a certain point, you got to take a look at how hard you want to ride your bike. And they would just pull on you anyways. I mean, you could be doing 90 down the freeway and they could pull on you, and there wasn't much you could do about it. And you could do exhaust and stuff like that, but when it came to cams, big bores, Honda really didn't have much to offer, at least from the dealership perspective, going to Honda themselves and being like, hey, what do I do? I'm just getting schooled by, I just got my ass kicked by an 88, And there wasn't much they could do. I had people say, you know what, you just think outside the box, take a look at the piston. Take a look at where the cylinder walls. Can you bore them? Can you find a bigger piston to fit in there? And a piston cylinder wall, okay, I could see where that would work. But now you're changing numbers, and I really didn't know if I wanted to get too far into that. So I ended up getting rid of those bikes. I crashed the one, had an idiot pull up right in front of me, put it down. Tried to stop best I could. Back tired, came up on me, I let go, tried to do it again. A lot of these are in videos I have had up before, but today I was just going to basically show you what it was I picked and kind of why I switched. If you saw the last video, you already saw the one bike, but I'm going to switch this thing around here real quick and just kind of show you what it is I'm playing with now. So you'll actually get to see, and I want to talk about some of the numbers. I haven't dynoed the second bike, the Cruiser, or should I say the touring bike. but the Cruiser, I have had it dynoed, and the numbers are actually pretty impressive. So, I'm going to turn this thing around real quick. Bear with me. All right. Yeah, I was going to pull these things outside. Do it out there, get a little better lighting. But it started to rain, and it started coming down pretty good. So the first one you guys saw my last video on, it's an 04 Softail. It's the FX STI, it's the injected one. This was the one that had been wrecked. Brother of mine, known the guy for 30 some years. Took it for a little ride, him and his girl, and they put it down. Went around a corner, back tire just decided it didn't want to play. They went to stand the bike up, and back tire said nope. So, I had to replace handlebars. I had just gotten the fender replaced. It's actually off a Heritage, you can see it, Softail. But I have a 23-inch wheel I'm going to throw back on there. So I needed a bigger fender because it's a wider tire. I have the kit to lift the fender up a little bit. So I'm going to throw that on next. But yeah, this one's basically bone stock. I mean, had 24,000 on it when I got it. I'm pushing 40 something, I believe, right now. Where am I at here? No, I'm at 32. Okay. Had a little over a year. But the previous owner put the oil pressure temperature. It's kind of difficult to read just because the oil is dark, so it's hard to see the numbers because they're on the plate underneath the oil, so it's kind of difficult to read. It'd be nice to get it empty, and then you could know what numbers are where, so you can kind of see what that needle's pointing at. But it's got some Vance and Hines on it. Those are nice pipes. I like them. When the bike went down, it bent that, so I just took a pair of pliers and pulled it out. Picked up this crazy saddleman bag, local pawn shop, $100. Came with the backrest. It's adjustable, clipped right on to the quick release setup. So it's a $300 bag. So that's the 2-up seat I have. I have the stock 1-up seat, and it's just thin. Really uncomfortable for anything over about an hour's worth of riding. But twin cam 88. Took it in. I was having issues with it at first. You'd get on the throttle and she'd choke out. Got that looked at. New pump. Had a dynoed. These things, I believe they run top of head numbers 75 and 85 as far as horse and torque. I think it's about 75 horse, 83, 85 torque, something like that. After the dyno, which shout out to Chapel, and they did amazing on it, I'm running 85 horse and 93 torque. So that's not too shabby out of a little 88. It's fuel injected. I mean, if it was carbureted, you could play a little more with it. From what I've heard from a lot of old school bikers, they still like their carbs because you can play with them more. You can fine tune them, get more out of them. But I thought about putting a cam in this. I actually wanted to build this up to a 100, put the 100 kit. But I mean, out the door, let's be realistic here. 100-inch kit on this thing, you're close to about 10 grand. So it's more than I paid for the bike. But I had that one, picked that one up first. Still had the Honda at the time, but just fell in love with the color. Buddy had it, made me a great deal on it. I'm like, you know what? Let's just do it. Went ahead and put a Daymaker up front, and that's nice. I actually have this fender light hooked up to where it turns on. It's custom dynamics headlight. These are pretty cool. I'll show you this too real quick if I can get it. Okay, yep. The license plate. I believe it's Kuryakin that made that license plate, but the blinkers are in the turn signal. Or the blinkers are in the license plate cover. Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. So I was like, where's the turn signals? You know, I got to looking at it. Yeah, they're right inside the license plate cover. So that was the first bike. Then I knew we were going to be doing a road trip. I was going to run up to Seattle, see the kids, grandkids, hit the rainforest, take the coast all the way down through Washington, Oregon, hit the 101, do the 1, going through LA, come up at Vegas, go that way, come back, just do a nice huge loop, but I was not doing it on that bike at all. There's just no way. I had saddlebags for it, but in the wreck they got broke. So I have other ones right up there. You gotta excuse the mess. I just bought this house. So I'm in the middle of figuring out what it is I want to do, where I want to put stuff, how I want to frame in the wall. Not frame the walls in, but insulation, drywall, or do I want to do some older wood look? So, but I knew that bike wasn't going to be good for the trip. Just too long. 3,000 miles or 2,300 miles or whatever it was. I wasn't doing it on that bike. The wife would hate me at the end of it. So, I picked up this one. It's a 22 Street Glide. It's the standard, so it's the 107. But when I got it, I was actually looking at a different bike. Looked at a couple there that day. Was kind of up in the air, Road Glide, Street Glide. Same bike, just different fairing. So, but this one had a lot of things on it that the other bikes didn't have. A lot of the other bikes they had were bone stock. And I just didn't like that because, I mean, you know it. Any upgrades on a bike is just expensive. So I got to looking at this one. This one already had the aftermarket bars, different seat. And I don't know if it's a seat cover or a different seat because I can't find a label underneath it, a logo. Picked up the bag covers from Surefire. Those I put on. Came with the Razor pack. I don't like it because it's not the huge big trunk with the luggage rack on top. It's nice. It's not quite the little pizza box, but it's not the big touring one off the Ultras. So, aftermarket slip-ons came on this thing already. They sound great. I switched them out because my last house, when these were facing down, I would scratch the hell out of them coming out of the driveway, in and out. So I spun them around. Well, I think I screwed up the bottom screw on this one. I can't get that screw out. I tried to turn them around the right way. That one didn't want to play, so I just left it. Kind of did it my way. I went ahead and put the stretch bags on. I found those online, and they literally hook right into the quick release mounts, so that was a plus. But the previous owner put a bunch of Willie G stuff on here. The gas cap cover, which is neat. Axle covers up front, Willie G. Put a bunch of Willie G stuff on here. The bars, the trunk, he did LEDs all the way around it. Come to find out, I took the bag off when I was putting on, I had to put on the crash bars for the back. There's aftermarket shocks on here. I put the heat deflectors. A guy should put a decent amount of money into this thing. I added these. I guess he had a medical issue and had to stop riding. So he bought a couple bikes from them. Did all the maintenance on it. They did. So I got the bike that had like 3,700 miles on it. I'm a little over 8,000 right now. I think it'll be a year in October I've had this. So I've been putting some miles on it. I actually had these installed. They are an aftermarket light, obviously, but I rigged in, had Chapel, local shop around here, take these buttons, utilize them, replace them with the proper switches. But I didn't like how, when you turn them on and off, but they would, let's see, low beam would be amber, and then when you switch over to high beam, it would just go white. Well, I didn't like that. So I actually had them rig in to where I can turn this off and on. Where it can go either amber, or I can switch it and go amber and white. Turn this off, turn this on. There's a way you can play with this. So I can change the way these lights go. So if I don't want them all the time, I can just turn them off. If I just need extra light and I just want the white, I can just turn this one on and they're bright white. If I want to play with the ambers, I can use this one to go from white and amber or just amber. And the amber looks just amazing at night. Lights up the road, something fierce, which I love. I mean, that's visibility. That's what it's all about, being seen, you know. And by being seen, I don't mean image, but for safety purposes. Yeah, you put the horn cover on. I actually had the Harley dealership throw in the heel shift because they had the bolt, but no heel shift. I'm like, what a minute, what happened there? You know, so they switched that out. Had them throw that in there for me. Yeah, this one's been a solid bike. I threw a little vinyl on here, a little decal, make it mine. Didn't want to just be another black Street Glide. We actually had to cut this a bit because there's a lot of curves in here. I mean, you can tell, you know it. If you have one of these bikes, you know the amount of curves and bends. And it just would have bubbled up. So we cut it once right here. And we had to cut it again right in here so it wouldn't bubble up. But yeah, it looked pretty neat. I thought it was interesting. Threw the hand guards on. Memphis shades. Oh God, yeah, Memphis shades, man. I had a huge issue with them. I ordered those, and I think 3 times I kept getting the throttle brace. If you put these on, you know I'm talking about, that little black brace right there. It's tiny on this side, but you go over the clutch side, and it's a lot longer of a brace. Well, they kept mailing me 2 of these. So I kind of came unglued on them. And so I'm like, dude, I don't know who's pulling your stuff, but someone needs to figure it out, dude, because I now have 3 throttle side braces, which just, I was pissed. So I think they finally got someone that knew what they were pulling, pulled the right ones, mailed me a full set again when all I needed. I'm like, I don't need the full set. I don't need the screws, nothing, just the brace, please. But they finally did it, so I just left it alone. I have more, but I'll throw another set on the soft tail. They got broken in the wreck as well. I threw a tank bib on, just cause I did notice some scuffing, legs, stuff like that. Especially if you just go sit on the seat sideways, you're just hanging out. You will kind of scuff this up, so. Yeah, it's been a fun bike, but this is the one we were gonna take the big trip on. But trip got canceled. We ended up buying a house. So I'm going to push that one off for a bit. But this is the one I actually want to cam, because I've been doing some little digging around some YouTube channels. And people are saying that you put the 107, which is, you know, really overlooked motor, because they came out with a 114 so fast that a lot of people just overlooked the 107, went straight to the 114. But from what I'd heard with the 107, it's actually, the heads are actually built to be, you can put compression releases in them. Where bikes, you know, the other engines, 114s, you actually have to do some head work to get the compression releases put in there. But the 107s, from what I hear, they're already ready for it. And with the 107, I've seen some videos on it. I've heard with the right cam, these things will keep up, if not tick bit outperform the 117, which I was just impressed with. I mean, you watch the videos and the people are putting up dyno numbers and flat out racing each other and then swapping bikes just so you know it's not the rider. And yeah, the 107 with the cams, you're talking stock 117s, more than likely, maybe slip-ons, but. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to do a cam in that, but even that's, you know, you're looking close to $5,000, put a cam. So, but no, they're both really reliable bikes. I like them. I haven't, like I say, I haven't had them long enough to really have any big what the hell moments. So I did have my compensator about fall off of this. One day that was a mess. I was getting ready for a huge ride up front, getting ready to do some guard work. Big run, charity event for kids. And compensator fell off. Well, it didn't fall off all the way, but it just clank, clank, clank. Bike wouldn't start, throwing me off. I was able to get that looked at. Why is that just sitting there like that? That's interesting. Huh. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I haven't had any issues with this at all. Nothing yet. I do want to put I thought about the vented dipstick and all that. I think I'm going to go with the magnetic dipstick. I think law-abiding biker put up a video. I think that was him on the vented dipstick, or not the vented dipstick, just the magnetic dipstick. How the magnet's a lot stronger than the one that's in the drain plug. So I think I kind of like that. When it comes to vented, I was told these new ones you really don't need to do the venting. They've pretty much fixed the blowback. But this one on the Softail, the blowback is an issue. You take this cover off and that air cleaner is filthy. They got the two hoses that come out of there and they just dump right into your air cleaner. I find that just a horrible design. Sorry, I'll just say it. But so I think I'm going to do I'll swap it out. I'll probably just run me a catch can back over the other side. I don't like the filter because it's still going to spray a little bit of oil. So you got to watch where you put that. But I think I'm going to put the little catch can on this one. Oh yeah, Street Glide, something with stupid design. I'm glad they fixed. At least from what I understand, they did. This, I think that is stupid. Because if many of you know, as you try and put the nozzle in there, that big ring around the nozzle wants to stick on this, and you can't see in there. See what you're doing to get that extra little bit in there, top it off. I think this is a horrible design. I have no idea why they didn't flip this the other way. It could go farther. I mean, they could crank this thing all the way and have it fold to a certain point. Okay, the handlebars might be an issue for a tick bit, but just move it a bit, you know. Open this thing up, lean it towards the stereo. Now you can fill it this way. Instead of having to do this strange monkey dance with your handlebars to fill it this way, I find it stupid. I don't know who bumped their head on that one, but I think they've got that fixed now. Yep, this is 2022. I love it. I've seen the 24s. Not quite sure what I think on them. A lot of tech. They completely got rid of the analog gauges. Now it's all on that screen. The screen's huge. I don't know how I feel about that. I've heard to use all of the features of it. I think they unlock it when you first buy the bike, but I think after a while, it has now become a subscription. Which now that's just a way to keep that wallet open. You know, because now you got to pay to use this. It's like OnStar in your car. Stuff like that, features it comes with. Now you have to pay to maintain, or not pay to maintain, but pay to use. How I look at it, because you're going to be doing maintenance anyways. So, but yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about the new ones. It's funny though, because they did on the 24s, they went to especially on the Road Glide, it cracked me up because they did the one single headlight LED, which I found really funny because they were the ones that were freaking up, talking shit on Indian. Because that one light, Cyclops looking thing, trying to copy Road Glide with that fixed fairing, and then they screw it up, put that big headlight in there, looks stupid. A couple years later, Harley comes out with the 24, and what'd they do? One big headlight. Just kind of cracked me up. It's hard to, that whole copying argument really cracks me up as well. I'll switch this thing for a minute. It's really hard to say someone's copying your stuff. I mean, that's like saying Ford's copying Chevy because they're trucks. I mean, they both have 2 doors and a bed and 4 tires and the grill and the bumper, and I mean, what else are you supposed to do? I mean, you could be a Tesla and put that Cybertruck piece of shit out, but with the fixed fairing and all that, they're just trying to copy. Well, I mean, let's be serious here. Harley wasn't the first person to put a fixed fairing on a bike. Honda did it. Yamaha, Kawasaki, they've been doing it for years. So it kind of cracked me up. Oh, they're trying to copy. I find that a real dumb argument. But enough griping. I just wanted to run through and show you these two new beauties real quick. So I'm going to wrap this one up for the day. So sorry about the lengthy one last time, but this is what I'm playing with now. Got the over the road. Like to take this one to work. Got about 100 miles a day I put on it. And that one's for just bumping around town on. I still take it to work, but you got to be careful with that one. It's not comfortable with that little seat. So, but for now, I'm going to check out. So, just wanted to show you what was up. Like I say, I apologize for the last one. I'm going to try working on a couple different video formats. Maybe start doing topics. I'm going to finish dealing with my camera, rig up a GoPro, play around like that. Try and figure out a little bit of editing. So, we will see. But for now, that's all I've got. You kids have fun. Play nice. Later.